Hello and welcome to Chetham's Library, Manchester's first library and the oldest public library in the country. Here's one of our contributions to the excitement that is Manchester's first Festival of Libraries. Don't forget to check out more from the festival website and look out for the hashtag Festival of Libraries. Chetham's Library doesn't collect contemporary children's books, but we're delighted that the library and its founder inspired Brian Tyra and Jane Shaffer to produce Atlanta Tully, Time Traveller, in the Time Traveller series by Southern Arches Publishing. Let's hear now from one of its young readers.
Hello, my name is Bella and I'm going to read an extract from an exciting time travel novel set here in central Manchester. It features an 11-year-old music prodigy called Atlanta Tully, who is from our time. She is whisked away back hundreds of years to 1631, where she lands in the courtyard of what we call today Chetham's Library. Back then it was called the College of Priests, and it is there she finds herself mistaken for a young boy called Henry Butterworth, and is soon serving beer to Humphrey Chetham, whose portrait you can see here hanging in the library today. He has come to discuss buying the building. Atlanta has arrived back in time at a key moment in the library's history, and in this extract is about to enter this beautiful room known nowadays as the reading room. The door swung open and a man, his hand still on the door handle, looked straight into Atlanta's eyes. His clothes were much finer than those of the warden. He wore a blue velvet coat and a stiff lace ruff at his neck, and on his shoes were large silver buckles. But it was the way he stood, and most of all, his gaze that told Atlanta he was a man of importance and wealth. Although not really resembling his cold white marble statue that has frozen him in the same position for so many years, Atlanta knew at once she was looking at Humphrey Chetham. She nearly dropped the jug of beer. Then she heard the warden say, "We have brought you refreshment, sire." "So I see. Put it on the table, man, before this young lad drops his jug. He looks sorely in need of refreshment himself. Is this the lad you told me about, the one whose father met with an untimely end in pursuit of his duties as a stonemason of some repute?" "Aye, Mr. Chetham, this is the very lad. His name is Henry Butterworth." "Very good, very good." Atlanta followed the warden towards a large table and was glad to place the jug down next to the warden's 2 plates of meat. A great many papers were scattered about on the table, and Mr. Fielding, the estate manager, was busy writing. In his hand was a quill, the end of which had been dipped into an ink bottle. In front of him, several sheets of parchment were covered with lines of evenly shaped, sloping script. "Join us if you would, Warden. There's a few queries I've put to you. Mr. Fielding and I have been looking through papers, and there is much I need to ask." The warden drew a chair up to the table. Atlanta, wondering what to do next, spotted some wooden tankards on a shelf. She poured the beer into 3 of them and took them to the gentlemen. They thanked her with a nod. Then she noticed a stool in the corner of the room and sat down. A clock ticked in the corner of the room, and the voices of the men droned above her head. Although there was no reason for it, Atlanta felt happy, completely at home, as if she had always lived in a place with oak-panelled walls, a decorated ceiling, and arched windows cut into strong stone walls. But the feeling was not going to last. There is adventure and danger ahead for Atlanta and Mr. Chetham in this exciting book, involving a daring escape from the king's cavalrymen, as King Charles I did not approve of him refusing to pay for a knighthood. I think Mr. Chetham was a really kind man, because he left money in his will to found this amazing Manchester library, which is now the oldest public library in the English-speaking world, and he also left money in his will for a school for 40 poor boys. What's really interesting too is that one of the authors of Atlanta Tully Time Traveller is Brian Tyra, who was actually a pupil at Chetham School in the 1960s. This brilliant book is published by Seven Arches Publishing, and you can borrow it from any public library.